What if the ninja who never gave up was actually humanity's first champion reborn? Naruto Uzumaki as Adam's reincarnation, the same unbreakable spirit that once made a god bleed, now powered by chakra and an oath to protect every single person in this village. Adam's famous words, "I don't need a reason to protect my children," hitting different when it's coming from someone who'd fight gods with a smile. This crossover is about to get absolutely insane.
In the vast tapestry of the multiverse, stories unfold in countless variations. This is the tale of a world where destiny took an unexpected turn, where the soul of humanity's greatest protector found new life in an orphan child. This is not the story you know. This is the legend of Naruto Uzumaki, the reincarnation of Adam, father of humanity. The night of the Nine Tails attack left Konoha scarred and the fourth Hokage dead, but it also marked the moment when divine purpose entered the mortal realm once more. As the fourth sealed the beast within his newborn son, something extraordinary happened. The soul of Adam, who once fought gods to protect his children, merged with the infant Naruto. Though the village would see only a Jinchūriki, within the child burned the spirit of humanity's most devoted father. Our story begins not with a prankster seeking attention, but with a young man awakening to his true nature, a protector reborn with the eyes of the Lord, ready to reshape the destiny of the shinobi world. Naruto stood before the mirror in his modest apartment, azure eyes reflecting a wisdom far beyond his 12 years. Unlike other children his age, his face rarely displayed the carefree expressions of youth. Instead, his features carried a serene confidence, tinged with something ancient and knowing. "Another day," he murmured, adjusting the unusual additions to his standard attire, a pair of brass knuckles secured to his belt. They weren't typical ninja tools, but they felt right in his hands, as though they belonged there. Since his earliest memories, Naruto had known he was different. Not because of the nine tails sealed within him, though he'd learned of that when he was 6, but because of the memories, the knowledge, the very essence that lived within his soul. He was Naruto Uzumaki, yes, but he was also Adam, the father of humanity, who had fought in the arena of Ragnarok against the gods themselves. The brass knuckles were a tribute to that past life, a connection to who he once was. In this life, he'd enhanced them with chakra-conducting metal, making them far more than ordinary weapons. As he stepped out into the streets of Konoha, Naruto felt the familiar stares. The villagers still saw him as the Nine Tails vessel, a reminder of their darkest day. But where the original timeline's Naruto might have sought attention through pranks and loudmouth declarations, this Naruto merely walked with quiet dignity. He did not need their acknowledgement. He already knew his worth. "Good morning, Naruto-kun," called Tochi from Ichiraku Ramen. Naruto nodded respectfully. "Good morning, Tochi-san. I'll stop by later." The ramen chef was among the few who had shown him kindness, and Adam's soul remembered kindness. Those who extended compassion to him would find a fierce protector in return. Today marked the final day at the academy, the day of graduation. Naruto had deliberately kept his true abilities hidden, showing just enough to pass without drawing undue attention. It wasn't that he feared showing his power. It was strategic. Adam had fought gods through cunning as much as strength. As he entered the classroom, the usual chatter dimmed slightly. His classmates had long ago learned that Naruto wasn't the easy target the adults had painted him to be. He took his seat silently, azure eyes surveying the room with casual alertness. Iruka entered shortly after, clipboard in hand. "Today's the graduation exam. When I call your name, proceed to the testing room. The exam will test your ability to perform the clone jutsu." Naruto almost smiled. The clone jutsu, the very technique that had once given him trouble in another life. Now, with his perfect chakra control in the eyes of the Lord, he could create not just basic illusions, but perfect replications. When his name was called, Naruto entered the testing room where Iruka and Mizuki waited. "Whenever you're ready, Naruto," Iruka said, his tone professional but kind. Naruto formed the hand seal with casual precision. Clone jutsu. In an instant, not 3 or 4, but 10 perfect clones appeared, arranged in a circle around the room. Each moved independently, displaying minute differences in posture and expression, a level of control that went far beyond academy requirements. Iruka's eyes widened slightly. That's impressive, Naruto. Far more than required. Mizuki's smile didn't reach his eyes. Indeed, quite the performance. Naruto dispelled the clones with a casual wave. Thank you, Iruka-sensei. He purposely ignored Mizuki, whose false smile triggered the same instinct that had once allowed Adam to see through the deception of gods. Congratulations, you pass. Iruka handed him a forehead protector. You're now officially a genin of Konogakure. Naruto accepted the headband with a respectful nod. As he turned to leave, he caught Mizuki's calculating gaze. In that moment, Naruto knew the teacher was planning something that involved him. He could see it in the subtle tension of the man's shoulders, the forced casualness of his posture. So be it, Naruto thought. Come nightfall, we'll see what game you're playing, Mizuki-sensei. That evening, as expected, Mizuki approached him with talk of a special graduation test, stealing the scroll of sealing. Naruto played along, appearing interested while his mind analyzed every word, every micro-expression. This secret test will prove you're ready for the challenges ahead, Mizuki explained, his voice dripping with false concern. Bring the scroll to the abandoned cabin in the forest, and I'll meet you there to complete your training. Naruto nodded, feigning naive excitement. I won't let you down, Mizuki-sensei. As Mizuki departed, Naruto's expression hardened. He had no intention of stealing anything. Instead, he made his way directly to the Hokage Tower. The third Hokage was surprised when Naruto requested an urgent meeting, but granted it nonetheless. Lord Third, Naruto began, his tone respectful but firm. Mizuki-sensei has just attempted to manipulate me into stealing the scroll of sealing. He claims it's a special graduation test, but his intentions are clearly treasonous. Hiruzen Sarutobi's eyes narrowed. That's a serious accusation, Naruto. One I don't make lightly, Naruto replied. I suggest we set a trap. Allow me to appear to comply with his request, but have Anbu standing by to apprehend him when he reveals his true intentions. The Hokage studied Naruto carefully. This was not the impulsive boy the Academy reports described. This young man spoke with the strategic clarity of a seasoned shinobi. Very well, the third agreed, but you will have protection at all times. That night, Naruto waited at the designated location with the decoy scroll. When Mizuki arrived, his triumphant expression quickly turned to shock as he realized Naruto wasn't alone. Looking for this, Mizuki? The third Hokage stepped from the shadows, flanked by Anbu operatives. I don't understand, Mizuki stammered before his face contorted with rage. You! He glared at Naruto. You little demon, you ruined everything. Naruto's eyes flashed, not with anger, but with a strange golden light that made Mizuki step back involuntarily. You sought to use a child to betray his village, Naruto said, his voice carrying an authority that silenced even the Anbu. You are the only traitor here. As Mizuki was restrained, the Hokage approached Naruto. You've shown exceptional judgment today. That's not common in one so young. Naruto met the old man's gaze steadily. Perhaps I'm not as young as I appear, Lord Third. The cryptic response left Hiruzen wondering just what hidden depths resided in Naruto Uzumaki. The next day, the academy buzzed with rumors of Mizuki's arrest. When Naruto entered for team assignments, the room fell silent, then erupted in whispers. He ignored them, taking his seat with the same quiet confidence he always displayed. Iruka arrived, pride evident in his expression as he surveyed the new genin. Congratulations to all of you. Today you begin your journey as Shinobi of the Leaf. I will now announce the three-man teams. Naruto listened patiently until his name was called. Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha. Your Jonin instructor will be Kakashi Hatake. Naruto's eyes shifted to his teammates. Sakura, intelligent but blinded by infatuation. Sasuke, talented but consumed by vengeance, both with potential, both in need of guidance. In his past life, Adam had protected his children. Perhaps now, Naruto would protect these two. Hours passed as they waited for their sensei. While Sakura complained and Sasuke brooded, Naruto remained still, using the time for meditation, a practice that calmed the immense chakra of both the Nine Tails and his own divine essence. When Kakashi finally appeared, his visible eyes swept over the three genin, lingering slightly longer on Naruto. My first impression is, "You're an interesting bunch," Kakashi said lazily. "Meet me on the roof." On the rooftop, Kakashi leaned against the railing. "Let's introduce ourselves. Likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams for the future." After Kakashi's deliberately vague self-introduction, Sakura went first with her Sasuke-centered response, followed by Sasuke's declaration of his ambition to kill a certain man. Then it was Naruto's turn. He looked directly at Kakashi, and for a moment, the Jonin felt like he was being evaluated rather than the other way around. "I am Naruto Uzumaki. I like protecting those who cannot protect themselves. I dislike those who abuse power or harm the innocent. My hobby is perfecting my techniques. My dream." Naruto paused, his eyes taking on that strange, knowing quality, is to create a world where children don't suffer for the sins of others. Kakashi's visible eye widened slightly. This was not the Naruto Uzumaki described in his file. "Tomorrow we'll have our first mission," Kakashi continued, recovering quickly. "A survival exercise. Oh, and don't eat breakfast. You'll throw up." As his teammates reacted with surprise to the news of another test, Naruto simply nodded, already seeing through Kakashi's deception. The eyes of the Lord allowed him to read people with uncanny accuracy. The next morning, Naruto arrived at the training ground well-fed and prepared. He nodded to Sasuke and Sakura, who looked hungry and irritable. "You should have eaten," he stated simply. But Kakashi-sensei said, Sakura began. "He was trying to weaken us," Naruto interrupted. "A hungry shinobi is a distracted shinobi." Sasuke's eyes narrowed. "How would you know?" Naruto met his gaze evenly. "Because I can see the intention behind his words." When Kakashi finally arrived 3 hours late, he found 3 very different genin waiting for him. Sakura was indignant, Sasuke impatient, but Naruto was perfectly composed, as if the wait meant nothing. Kakashi explained the bell test, showing the 2 small bells at his waist. "Get these bells from me before noon. Whoever doesn't get a bell goes without lunch and fails the test." As Sasuke and Sakura tensed for action, Naruto raised his hand. "Kakashi-sensei, this test is designed to pit us against each other, but the point is teamwork, isn't it? No genin could take those bells from you alone." Kakashi froze, his visible eye widening in genuine surprise. "What makes you say that?" 3-man cells are the standard formation for Konoha Shinobi, Naruto replied calmly. "It would be counterproductive to break up a team after it's been formed. The bell shortage is meant to create conflict, testing whether we can see beyond individual desires to the greater goal." A heavy silence fell over the training ground. Even Sasuke looked at Naruto with newfound curiosity. Kakashi's posture changed subtly. "Interesting theory, prove it by taking the bells." "Sasuke, Sakura," Naruto turned to his teammates. "We can only succeed together. Will you trust me?" Something in his voice, a natural authority, a certainty beyond his years, made both of them nod, despite their reservations. "Good," Naruto said. "Then here's the plan." What followed was not the disjointed attempts of the original timeline, but a coordinated assault that caught Kakashi off guard. Naruto had quickly assessed both his teammates' strengths and devised a strategy that utilized them perfectly. Sakura created a diversion with clever genjutsu, while Sasuke launched precision fire techniques that forced Kakashi into a predetermined path. Meanwhile, Naruto had positioned shadow clones throughout the battlefield. When Kakashi evaded Sasuke's grand fireball jutsu, he found himself facing Naruto. The Jonin reached for a kunai, but froze when he saw Naruto's eyes shift, taking on a golden hue that seemed to pierce through him. "Divine reflection," Naruto whispered. In that instant, Naruto moved with impossible speed, perfectly mirroring Kakashi's own signature taijutsu style, but faster, more precise. Each strike flowed with a fluidity that shouldn't have been possible for a genin or even most jonin. "He's copying my moves before I make them," Kakashi realized with shock. But that's not the Sharingan. What is this? Forced on the defensive, Kakashi didn't notice Sasuke approaching from his blind spot until it was too late. The bells jingled as Sasuke snatched them, tossing one to Sakura while keeping the other. "Time's up," Naruto said, his eyes returning to their normal blue. "We have the bells." Kakashi straightened, adjusting his headband. "Well done, but now comes the hard part. Who goes back to the academy?" Without hesitation, Naruto stepped forward. "I will. They earned the bells." Sasuke frowned, then tossed his bell to Naruto. "Take it. You came up with the plan." Sakura looked between them, then held out her bell as well. We did it together. We should pass or fail together. Kakashi's eye curved in a smile. Is that your final decision? 3 nods answered him. Then you all pass. As Kakashi explained the importance of teamwork in the memorial stone, Naruto gazed at the names of fallen shinobi with solemn respect. In his previous life, Adam had understood sacrifice better than most. Those who gave their lives for others deserved remembrance. That night, in his apartment, Naruto sat in meditation, golden light occasionally flickering behind his closed eyelids. The 9 tails stirred within his mindscape. You're not like the others, the great fox growled. There's something ancient in you, something that doesn't belong in this world. Naruto opened his eyes, finding himself standing before the massive cage. You're right, Kurama. I am not only Naruto Uzumaki. The 9 tails' eyes widened at the use of his true name. Who are you to address me so? I am Adam, father of humanity, Naruto replied, his voice resonating with power beyond his physical form. In another existence, I fought to protect my children from the gods. Now, I fight to protect this world. The 9 tails stared in disbelief. Impossible. And yet, here I stand. Naruto approached the cage without fear. I do not wish to be your jailer, Kurama. I would rather be your ally. Pretty words, the fox snarled. But humans have always sought to control my power. I am not merely human, Naruto replied, and I do not seek to control you. I seek to free you from hatred. The conversation marked the beginning of an understanding between them, one that would grow far faster than in the original timeline, as the divine essence within Naruto resonated with the chakra beast in ways no ordinary human could. The weeks that followed saw Team 7 completing D-rank missions with unprecedented efficiency. Where once there might have been complaints about chasing cats or weeding gardens, Naruto approached each task with the same dignified determination he brought to everything. His influence on his teammates was evident. Sakura began focusing more on her training than on impressing Sasuke. The Uchiha, meanwhile, found himself respecting Naruto's quiet strength and strategic mind, though he would never admit it openly. Kakashi observed these changes with growing curiosity. During training sessions, Naruto displayed abilities far beyond genin level, perfect chakra control, advanced taijutsu, and an uncanny ability to replicate any technique after seeing it just once. Yet he never boasted, never sought praise. He simply executed each task with precision, then helped his teammates improve. Your file doesn't match the shinobi I see before me, Kakashi commented one day after training. Your academy records show average performance at best. Naruto met his sensei's gaze steadily. Perhaps I saw no reason to show my true capabilities until now. And what are your true capabilities, Naruto? Kakashi pressed. A small, knowing smile touched Naruto's lips. You'll see them when they're needed, Kakashi-sensei. That opportunity came sooner than expected when Team 7 was assigned their first C-rank mission, escorting the bridge builder Tazuna to the Land of Waves. As they departed Konoha, Naruto walked slightly behind the group, his senses extended. Adam's protective instincts, combined with his shinobi training, made him hyper-aware of potential threats. When they passed a puddle on a clear day, he immediately identified the deception. Rather than alert the others and potentially lose the advantage of surprise, Naruto created a shadow clone that transformed into a small insect, positioning it near the puddle while the team continued forward. When the demon brothers emerged from their hiding place to attack Kakashi, they found themselves facing not just the Jonin, but also Naruto, who had substituted with his insect clone in an instant. Water style, water prison jutsu, Naruto called out, having copied the technique from a demonstration in Konoha weeks earlier. 2 perfect water spheres formed around the surprised Chunin, trapping them before they could execute their attack. Kakashi, who had been preparing his own counter, stared in astonishment. Naruto, how did you? I saw through their disguise, Naruto replied simply. A puddle on a sunny day when it hasn't rained in weeks is rather obvious. While Sasuke and Sakura gaped at their teammates' casual display of an advanced water jutsu, Kakashi recovered his composure and secured the prisoners. Tazuna-san, Kakashi turned to the bridge builder. It seems you haven't been entirely truthful about this mission. The old man's confession about Gato and the true dangers awaiting them led to a team discussion about continuing the mission. We should proceed, Naruto stated firmly. These people need protection. That's what shinobi are for, not just completing missions, but protecting those who cannot protect themselves. His words carried such conviction that even Kakashi found himself nodding in agreement. As they continued toward the land of waves, Kakashi kept a closer eye on Naruto. The water prison technique was at least B rank, requiring precise chakra control and nature transformation, abilities most genin shouldn't possess. Yet Naruto had executed it flawlessly and without apparent strain. Their journey soon brought them face to face with a far more dangerous opponent, Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the hidden mist. As mist enveloped the area, Kakashi revealed his Sharingan. Stay in formation and protect Tazuna. This opponent is on a different level. Zabuza's voice echoed through the mist. 8 points: larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian artery, kidneys, heart. Which vital organ do you want struck first? While Sasuke trembled under the killing intent and Sakura positioned herself before Tazuna, Naruto remained perfectly calm. His eyes glowed gold, piercing through the mist with divine clarity. When Zabuza appeared in the center of their formation, sword raised to strike Tazuna, it was Naruto who moved first, not Kakashi. In a blur of speed that rivaled the Jonin, Naruto intercepted the attack, brass knuckles meeting the massive blade with a resounding clang. Zabuza's eyes widened in shock. What the? Divine reflection, Kubikiribocho, Naruto whispered, his eyes locked on Zabuza's sword. In an instant, chakra formed around Naruto's hand, creating a perfect energetic replica of Zabuza's legendary blade. With one fluid motion, he parried the real sword and counterattacked, forcing the missing nin to leap back. Impossible, Zabuza growled. No genin has that speed or strength. Kakashi appeared beside Naruto, equally stunned but professional enough to hide it. Protect Tazuna, Naruto, I'll handle this. With respect, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto replied, his chakra sword dissipating. I believe we should handle this together. What followed was not the desperate battle of the original timeline, but a coordinated assault that kept Zabuza off balance. While Kakashi engaged directly, Naruto analyzed and replicated Zabuza's water techniques, using them to counter the swordsman's attacks and create openings. Water style, water dragon jutsu. Both Zabuza and Naruto called simultaneously, their dragons colliding in a spectacular crash of water. He's copying my jutsu without hand signs, Zabuza realized with growing unease. Not even the Sharingan can do that. The battle reached its climax when Zabuza attempted to trap Kakashi in a water prison. Before the jutsu could fully form, Naruto appeared behind him. Divine reflection, silent killing, he murmured, striking with the same deadly precision Zabuza was famous for. The missing nin barely evaded, but the distraction allowed Kakashi to land a decisive blow. As Zabuza fell, Senbon needles struck his neck, and a masked hunter nin appeared to claim the body. After the hunter nin departed with Zabuza's body, Kakashi turned to Naruto, his expression serious despite his exhaustion. When we reach Tazuna's home, you and I need to talk, Naruto. The genin nodded calmly. Of course, Kakashi-sensei. At Tazuna's house, after confirming his suspicions that Zabuza was still alive and receiving treatment from the fake hunter nin, Kakashi confronted Naruto privately. What I saw today goes beyond any known Kekkei Genkai, Kakashi stated. You didn't just copy Zabuza's techniques, you perfectly replicated his sword, his killing style, even his water manipulation. No genin should be capable of that. Even the Sharingan has limitations. Naruto considered his response carefully. What would you say, Kakashi-sensei, if I told you I possess the eyes of the Lord? I'd say that's not a term I'm familiar with. It allows me to see through all techniques and replicate them perfectly, Naruto explained. Not just ninjutsu or genjutsu, but taijutsu, weapon techniques, even bloodline abilities. Once I see something, I can reproduce it with 100% accuracy. Kakashi's visible eye narrowed. Such an ability shouldn't exist. And yet, it does, Naruto replied simply. I've had it since I was young, but chose not to reveal it until necessary. Why reveal it now? Naruto's expression grew solemn. Because Zabuza and his accomplice represent a genuine threat, and more importantly, the people of this land are suffering. I will not hold back when innocent lives are at stake. Something in Naruto's voice, an ancient conviction, a protective fury barely contained, made Kakashi believe him, despite the impossibility of his claims. We'll continue this discussion later, Kakashi decided. For now, we should prepare for Zabuza's return. The week that followed saw Team 7 training in the forest. While Kakashi taught Sasuke and Sakura tree climbing exercises, Naruto practiced water walking, a technique he had already mastered but refined further. When he wasn't training, he spent time with Tazuna's grandson, Inari, whose pessimism resonated with the part of him that remembered humanity's suffering. Sometimes the strongest people are those who stand up after falling, Naruto told the boy one evening. Your father understood that. He protected what was precious to him, just as we will protect you and this village. Unlike the brash declarations of the original timeline, these words were spoken with the quiet certainty of someone who had witnessed both the cruelty and courage of humanity across eons. When the day of confrontation arrived, Naruto remained at the house while the others went to protect Tazuna at the bridge. He had sensed Gado's thugs approaching and chose to intercept them before they could threaten Tsunami and Inari. The mercenaries never stood a chance. They found not a child but a warrior with glowing golden eyes who moved with divine speed. Naruto disarmed and incapacitated them without killing, his strikes precise and efficient. Go back to Gado, he told the terrified men. Tell him that the people of this land are under my protection now. At the bridge, the situation had deteriorated. Sasuke was trapped in Haku's crystal ice mirrors, while Kakashi faced Zabuza in the mist. When Naruto arrived, his eyes immediately assessed the battlefield. Sakura, maintain position with Tazuna, he commanded with such natural authority that she obeyed without question. Naruto then turned toward the ice dome where Sasuke fought. With a single hand seal, he created a shadow clone to assist Kakashi before walking calmly toward Haku's mirrors. Hidden jutsu, crystal ice mirrors, Naruto whispered, his eyes glowing as he analyzed the technique. The Kekkei Genkai was complex, a combination of water and wind nature transformations molded into a solid state. Yet through the eyes of the Lord, its mechanics became clear to him instantly. Naruto stepped through the gap between mirrors, finding Sasuke covered in senbon wounds, but still fighting. Stay back, Sasuke warned, sharing an active but with only one tomoe in each eye. His speed is incredible. I can see that, Naruto replied, his gaze tracking Haku as the masked shinobi moved between mirrors. When Haku launched another barrage of senbon, Naruto didn't dodge. Instead, his body moved with impossible precision, his hands a blur as he caught every needle midair. Divine reflection, crystal ice movement, Naruto stated calmly. In a flash of speed that surpassed even Haku's, Naruto appeared behind the masked shinobi, delivering a strike that cracked the mirror and sent Haku tumbling to the bridge's surface. Impossible, Haku gasped, rising shakily. No one can move faster than me between mirrors. I don't copy techniques, Naruto explained, approaching steadily. I surpass them. As Haku prepared a final desperate attack, Naruto's expression softened with understanding. You fight for someone precious to you, I respect that devotion, but I too protect what is precious to me. Their clash was brief but decisive. Naruto countered Haku's every move, not with cruelty, but with efficient precision, ultimately shattering the mask and defeating the ice user without killing him. Your purpose is not to die today, Naruto told the fallen Haku. True strength comes in living for those you love, not dying for them. Before Haku could respond, they heard Kakashi's lightning blade activating in the mist. Knowing what Haku intended, Naruto moved with divine speed, intercepting him before he could sacrifice himself for Zabuza. Enough, Naruto declared, his voice carrying such authority that both Kakashi and Zabuza paused their battle. This cycle of death serves no one. The standoff was interrupted by slow clapping. The mist cleared partially to reveal Gato and his army of mercenaries at the end of the bridge. Well, well, the shipping magnate sneered. The mighty demon of the mist brought low by children. How disappointing. Zabuza's eyes narrowed. Gato? What is this? Business, of course. Why pay a high-priced ninja when I can hire these thugs for a fraction of the cost? And now I'll eliminate all of you together. Naruto stepped forward, positioning himself between his teammates and the mercenaries. Zabuza, it seems your employer has betrayed you. Perhaps we share a common enemy now. The swordsman glanced at Haku, then back at the genin who had spoken with such calm certainty. Perhaps we do, kid. What followed was not a desperate last stand, but a calculated display of overwhelming force. With Zabuza and Kakashi flanking him, Naruto faced Gado's army with eyes glowing gold. Divine reflection, combination, he announced. With perfect precision, Naruto executed a sequence of techniques he had witnessed throughout his life. The fourth Hokage's speed, Zabuza's silent killing, Haku's precision, Kakashi's tactical genius, all flowing together in a display of combat mastery that left even the Jonin speechless. The mercenaries fell like wheat before a scythe, not killed but thoroughly defeated, their weapons shattered, their spirits broken. Gado found himself lifted by the collar, staring into eyes that seemed to see through to his corrupt soul. "Your reign of terror ends today," Naruto stated. "You will return everything you've stolen from these people, and then you will leave, never to return." The businessman's arrogance crumbled before the absolute authority in that young voice. Something ancient and powerful looked out through those eyes, something that had once stared down gods. In the aftermath, as the villagers celebrated their freedom, Zabuza approached Naruto while Haku rested nearby. "You're no ordinary genin," the swordsman stated. "What are you really?" Naruto smiled slightly. "Someone who protects his children." The cryptic answer confused Zabuza, but something in Naruto's eyes prevented further questioning. Team 7's return to Konoha was marked by a new dynamic. Sasuke, having witnessed Naruto's true power, viewed his teammate with a mixture of respect and competitive determination. Sakura, meanwhile, began to see beyond her initial impressions, noticing the quiet wisdom in Naruto's every action. Kakashi reported the mission's unexpected developments to the Hokage, carefully describing Naruto's abilities while omitting certain details out of growing loyalty to his enigmatic student. "His skills far exceed Genin level," Kakashi concluded. "In truth, Lord Hokage, I'm not certain what Naruto's limits actually are." Hiruzen puffed thoughtfully on his pipe. "Keep watching him, Kakashi. Guide him. Whatever power Naruto possesses, Konoha must ensure it's directed toward the village's protection." "With respect, sir," Kakashi replied, "I believe Naruto has already chosen his path. He protects not just the village, but all who need protection. It's fundamental to who he is." The Hokage nodded slowly, recognizing the truth in those words. "Then we are fortunate to have him." As the Chunin exams approached, Team 7 continued completing missions with remarkable efficiency. Naruto's influence gradually transformed his teammates. Sasuke became less consumed by vengeance, while Sakura developed genuine confidence in her abilities rather than seeking validation from others. When Kakashi nominated them for the Chunin exams, he did so with complete confidence in their readiness. "The exams will be dangerous," he warned them, "but I believe you're prepared for the challenges ahead." Naruto nodded, his expression serene. "We will face them together." The day before the exams, while walking through the village, Naruto sensed a presence following them, a poor disguise that in another timeline might have fooled him. Now he simply turned and addressed the square rock directly. "Konohamaru, disguises generally don't have perfect right angles." The box lifted to reveal the Hokage's grandson and his friends. "Boss, you're as sharp as ever." Unlike the loud, attention-seeking Naruto of the original timeline, this Naruto treated the children with gentle respect. When they asked him to play ninja, he didn't refuse, but instead turned it into a lesson on stealth and observation. Their game was interrupted by the arrival of two sand shinobi, Kankuro and Temari. When Konohamaru accidentally collided with Kankuro, the puppeteer lifted the boy threateningly. "That hurt, you little brat." Before Sasuke could intervene from his perch in a nearby tree, Naruto simply appeared beside Kankuro, his hand gently but firmly gripping the sand ninja's wrist. "I would advise releasing him," Naruto said quietly, his eyes meeting Kankuro's. "He is the Hokage's grandson, and more importantly, he is under my protection." Something in Naruto's gaze, a glimpse of the divine authority that had once challenged gods, made Kankuro lower Konohamaru immediately. "Hey, we don't want trouble," the puppeteer said, taking a step back. "Nor do I," Naruto replied, his tone softening as he released his grip. "You're here for the Chunin exams, I presume? Welcome to Konoha." The diplomatic response caught the Sand siblings off guard. Before they could reply, a cold voice spoke from a nearby tree. "Kankuro, you're an embarrassment to our village." Gaara hung upside down from a branch, his eyes cold and assessing. In an instant, he transported himself to stand before his siblings. As the Jinchūriki's gaze fell on Naruto, something shifted in his expression. The one tail inside him reacted violently to Naruto's presence. "You? What are you?" Gaara asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Naruto met his fellow Jinchūriki's gaze steadily. "Someone like you in some ways, someone very different in others." The cryptic answer clearly unsettled Gaara, but before he could respond, Naruto continued. "The demon inside you is in pain. That pain transfers to you. It doesn't have to be that way." Gaara's eyes widened fractionally, the most emotion he had shown in years. "Who are you?" "Naruto Uzumaki. We'll see more of each other during the exams. Gaara of the desert." As the Sand siblings departed, Sasuke approached Naruto. "How did you know his name? He never introduced himself." Naruto smiled slightly. "I know many things, Sasuke, including the fact that those three are more dangerous than they appear, especially Gaara." The first stage of the Chunin exams brought them face to face with Ibiki Morino and his psychological warfare disguised as a written test. While many Genin panicked at the difficult questions and the threat of failure, Naruto remained perfectly composed. The eyes of the Lord allowed him to see through Ibiki's true intentions immediately. This was not a test of knowledge, but of information gathering and resolve under pressure. When he noticed Hinata's offer to let him copy her answers, he declined with a gentle smile, instead working through the problems methodically. When Ibiki presented the final question with its ultimatum, take the question and risk never becoming Chunin, or leave now and try again next time, Naruto remained seated, his calm presence a stabilizing influence on those around him. As other teams debated and some left the room, Naruto raised his hand. Ibiki's eyes narrowed, thinking the boy was giving up, until Naruto spoke. "With respect, Examiner," his clear voice carried throughout the room, "a shinobi's path is filled with impossible choices and uncertain outcomes. If fear of failure prevents us from moving forward, we have already failed as ninja. I believe everyone in this room understands that principle, which is why we remain seated, ready to face whatever challenge you present." Ibiki's scarred face showed genuine surprise, then respect. The speech had not only demonstrated Naruto's own resolve, but had steadied the nerves of every remaining participant. "Well said," Ibiki acknowledged. "And with that, you all passed the first exam." The second stage brought Team 7 to the Forest of Death under Anko Mitarashi's supervision. As they entered the dangerous training ground with their Heaven Scroll, Naruto briefed his teammates. "We should move quickly toward the center," he advised. "Lingering increases our exposure to both other teams and the forest's natural dangers." Sasuke nodded in agreement. "What's our strategy for obtaining an Earth Scroll?" "We set a trap," Naruto replied. "I can create shadow clones transformed to look like us, appearing vulnerable. When a team attacks, we counter from hiding." The plan worked perfectly. Within hours, they had acquired an Earth Scroll from an overconfident Rain team that fell for their deception. But as they moved toward the tower, Naruto suddenly stopped, his senses alert. "Something's coming," he warned. "Something powerful." The attack came in the form of a devastating wind technique that scattered the team. When Sasuke and Sakura regrouped, they found themselves facing a grass ninja whose killing intent rivaled Zabuza's. My, what interesting prey," the disguised Orochimaru hissed. Before the Sannin could approach, Naruto appeared between his teammates and the threat, his eyes already glowing gold. "Sasuke, Sakura, retreat to the tower immediately," Naruto commanded. "This is no Genin." Orochimaru's eyes widened with interest. "Perceptive little fox, you recognize a predator when you see one." "I recognize a snake hiding in the grass," Naruto replied evenly. "Orochimaru of the Sannin." The disguise melted away as Orochimaru smiled widely. "How fascinating! The Nine-Tails Jinchūriki has some unexpected talents." "More than you know," Naruto stated, his chakra beginning to swirl visibly around him, not the red chakra of the Nine-Tails, but something else, something golden and ancient. "Sasuke, Sakura, go now." "We're not leaving you," Sasuke insisted, Sharingan active. Orochimaru laughed. "Such loyalty! But I'm only interested in the Uchiha today." What followed was not the one-sided battle of the original timeline. As Orochimaru attacked, Naruto's eyes tracked every movement, every technique. Divine Reflection 5-element seal, Naruto countered as Orochimaru's fingers glowed with the very seal he intended to use on Naruto. The Sannin barely dodged, genuine surprise crossing his features. "Impossible." That's a complex sealing technique you couldn't possibly know. I know everything I see, Naruto replied, his hands forming seals at blinding speed. Wind-style great breakthrough? The powerful gust forced Orochimaru back, giving Sasuke an opening to launch a Phoenix Flower Jutsu. The coordinated attack pushed the Sannin defensive for the first time in years. How delightful, Orochimaru hissed. You're both far more interesting than my intelligence suggested. The battle escalated as Orochimaru summoned his giant snake. Rather than freeze in terror as he might have in another timeline, Naruto bit his thumb and slammed his hand to the ground. Summoning Jutsu! In a massive cloud of smoke, Gamabunta appeared, the giant toad chief looking around in confusion. Who dares summon me, he bellowed, before noticing the small figure atop his head. A child! Impossible! Chief Toad, Naruto addressed him respectfully. I apologize for the sudden summoning, but we face Orochimaru of the Sannin. Gamabunta's eyes narrowed at the snake summoner. Jiraiya's contract should not allow one so young to summon me. We can discuss that later, Naruto replied calmly. For now, I request your assistance in protecting my teammates. Something in the boy's voice, an authority beyond his years, gave Gamabunta pause. Very well, young summoner, let us deal with this snake. The clash between Toad and Snake shook the forest. While the summons battled, Naruto created shadow clones to evacuate Sasuke and Sakura despite their protests. He knew they weren't ready to face a Sannin, even with his assistance. Orochimaru, realizing his primary target was escaping, disengaged from Gamabunta and pursued with frightening speed. Naruto intercepted him, their collision creating a shockwave that toppled trees. You're becoming an annoyance, boy, Orochimaru snarled, his neck extending unnaturally as he attempted to bite Naruto. Divine Reflection, 8 trigrams, 64 palms. Naruto countered, his fingers striking with precision at Orochimaru's chakra points. A perfect replication of the Hyuga clan's secret technique, despite never having seen it performed at full capacity. The unexpected counter disrupted Orochimaru's chakra network temporarily, forcing him to retreat. What are you? The Sannin demanded, genuine curiosity in his serpentine eyes. I am the father of humanity, Naruto replied, his voice resonating with something ancient and powerful. And I will not allow you to corrupt my children with your cursed seal. The cryptic response confused Orochimaru momentarily, just long enough for Anbu to arrive, drawn by the commotion of the summoning battle. Calculating the changing odds, the Sannin reluctantly withdrew. We will meet again, Naruto Uzumaki, he promised. You've become almost as interesting to me as the Uchiha. After ensuring his teammates reached the tower safely, Naruto thanked Gamabunta, who departed with lingering questions about the unusual summoner. Inside, they were among the first teams to complete the second stage, giving them time to recover before the preliminary matches. The Hokage and Jonin who greeted the successful teams watched Naruto with new interest. Reports of his confrontation with Orochimaru had already reached them, though many details remained unclear. You faced a Sannin and survived, Kakashi noted when he met with his team privately. More than survived, according to the Anbu reports. You drove him off. Naruto shrugged modestly. I merely bought time for Sasuke and Sakura to escape. Orochimaru was targeting Sasuke specifically, intending to mark him with some kind of seal. Sasuke's eyes widened at this information. Why would he target me? Your Sharingan, Naruto replied simply. He collects Kekkei Genkai and powerful techniques. Your eyes are valuable to him. The preliminary matches soon began, with Sasuke facing a chakra-absorbing opponent, and Sakura matched against Ino in battles that closely resembled the original timeline. When Naruto's turn came, he found himself facing Kiba Inuzuka. Lucky me, Kiba grinned confidently. No offense, Naruto, but you're going down. Naruto simply nodded respectfully. Let's have a good match, Kiba. Unlike the drawn-out battle of the original timeline, this confrontation was brief but instructive. As Kiba and Akamaru charged with their fang-over-fang technique, Naruto didn't dodge. Instead, his eyes flashed gold. Divine reflection, fang over fang, he stated calmly. To the astonishment of everyone present, Naruto spun into a perfect replica of Kiba's signature technique, meeting the original midair. The collision sent Kiba and Akamaru tumbling in opposite directions while Naruto landed gracefully on his feet. What the hell? Kiba gasped, rising shakily. That's an Inuzuka clan technique. I apologize for the confusion, Naruto replied. But as you can see, I can replicate any technique I observe. Kiba's next attack was met with the same result, except this time Naruto's counter was faster and more powerful, leaving both Kiba and Akamaru unconscious. Hayate coughed slightly before announcing, "Winner, Naruto Uzumaki." As medics tended to Kiba, murmurs spread through the observing Genin and Jonin alike. In the stands, Hiyashi Hyuga's eyes narrowed. He had clearly seen Naruto use a perfect 8 trigrams technique against Orochimaru, a clan secret that should have been impossible for an outsider to replicate. The matches continued, with Hinata facing Neji in a confrontation that began similarly to the original timeline. Neji's cruel dismantling of Hinata's confidence and his lecture on inescapable fate drew a different response from this Naruto. However, as Hinata began to falter under her cousin's psychological and physical assault, Naruto's voice rang out clearly. "Hinata, fate is not determined by birth, but by choice. Show him the strength I see in you." The simple statement, delivered with absolute conviction, sparked something in the Hyuga heiress. Though she ultimately lost the match, she fought with renewed determination that earned respect from many observers and fueled Neji's resentment. When Neji continued his attack after Hinata was clearly defeated, Naruto moved faster than most eyes could follow, appearing between them and catching Neji's strike with one hand. "Enough," Naruto said quietly, his eyes meeting Neji's. "She has shown more courage in defeat than you have in victory." The Hyuga prodigy pulled his hand away, glaring. "You know nothing of the Hyuga burden." "I know more of burdens than you might imagine," Naruto replied, his gaze briefly shifting to the observing Hiyashi before returning to Neji. "And I know that hatred only creates more hatred. Your father would not want this for you." The mention of his father made Neji freeze momentarily before he turned away. "We will settle this in the finals, Uzumaki." And so they would, as the preliminary matches concluded with Naruto, Sasuke, Neji, Gaara, Shikamaru, Shino, Temari, and Dosu advancing to the finals. When lots were drawn for the tournament bracket, Naruto found himself matched against Neji in the first round, a confrontation laden with meaning after their exchange. The month-long training period before the finals saw a significant departure from the original timeline. Rather than Ebisu or even Jiraiya, Naruto found himself approached by the third Hokage personally. "Your performance in the exams has raised many questions, Naruto," Hiruzen said as they sat in his office. "Questions I believe it's time to address." Naruto nodded calmly. "I've been expecting this conversation, Lord Third." "The ability to perfectly replicate techniques you've only seen once, including Kekkei Genkai and clan secrets, is unprecedented," the Hokage continued. "Not even the Sharingan can duplicate techniques so completely without the necessary chakra nature or physical training." "The eyes of the Lord see all techniques in their purest form," Naruto explained. "When I observe a jutsu, I understand it completely, its chakra requirements, its physical execution, its fundamental nature. Replication is simply the application of that perfect understanding." Hiruzen studied him carefully. "And where did these eyes of the Lord come from, Naruto?" Naruto considered his response thoughtfully. "Lord Third, what would you say if I told you that within me resides not only the Nine Tails, but also the soul of humanity's first father?" The Hokage's pipe nearly fell from his mouth. "I would say that's quite a claim." "Yet it is the truth," Naruto replied simply. "I am the reincarnation of Adam, who in another existence fought to protect his children from the gods themselves. His soul awakened within me gradually as I grew. His abilities, his memories, his protective nature, they are now part of who I am." Under normal circumstances, Hiruzen might have dismissed such claims as fantasy, but he had seen the impossible reports, witnessed the inexplicable abilities, and most importantly, he recognized the ancient wisdom in Naruto's eyes that no 12-year-old could possess. "If what you say is true," the Hokage said carefully, "then your potential is concerning." "Only to those who would harm the innocent," Naruto replied. "I seek not power for its own sake, but the ability to protect. That is why Adam fought the gods. That is why I will fight anyone who threatens those under my protection." The conviction in his voice was so profound that Hiruzen found himself believing. "And who exactly is under your protection, Naruto?" Naruto smiled slightly. "All of humanity, Lord Third, but especially this village and the people precious to me within it. The answer both reassured and unsettled the Hokage. I see. And what are your intentions regarding the finals? To win, of course, Naruto replied simply, but more importantly, to open Neiji's eyes to the truth about fate and the Hyuga clan. There is deception there that needs addressing. Hiruzen nodded thoughtfully. Very well. I won't interfere with your preparation, but I ask that you exercise discretion with your more unusual abilities. The wrong people learning of them could create complications. I understand, Lord Third, Naruto agreed. I will be prudent. The day of the finals arrived with great anticipation. Dignitaries from across the shinobi world gathered to observe the promising genin, including the fourth Kazekage, or rather Orochimaru disguised as the Kazekage, though few suspected this deception. As the contestants gathered in the arena, Naruto's calm presence contrasted sharply with Neiji's cold confidence. When Genma Shiranui announced the first match, Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga, the crowd's reaction was mixed. Many still held prejudice against the Nine-Tails Jinchūriki, while others had heard rumors of his unexpected prowess in the preliminaries. As both combatants took their positions, Neiji's Byakugan activated. You should forfeit now, Uzumaki. Fate has already determined this outcome. Naruto regarded him steadily. Fate is not a prison, Neji. It is a path with many branches, shaped by our choices. Today I choose to show you the truth. The Hyuga prodigy scoffed. What truth could you possibly show me? The truth about your father's sacrifice, Naruto replied quietly, and the deception that has fueled your hatred. Neiji's eyes widened momentarily before narrowing in anger. You know nothing. With that he charged, palms glowing with chakra as he aimed for Naruto's Tenketsu points. What followed was not the desperate evasion of the original timeline, but a display of perfect countering. Each of Neiji's strikes was met with precise movements that redirected or neutralized the attack. How are you doing this? Neji demanded, as none of his strikes connected. No one can evade the gentle fist so completely. I'm not evading, Naruto replied calmly. I'm countering. The gentle fist is a magnificent taijutsu style, but like all techniques, it has patterns and principles that can be understood. Frustrated, Neji increased his speed, launching into the 8 trigram 64 palms. To the astonishment of every Hyuga present, Naruto performed the exact same technique simultaneously, their palms meeting in perfect synchronization, neutralizing each strike. Impossible, Hiyashi Hyuga exclaimed from the stands. He's matching the 64 palms perfectly. As both techniques concluded, Neji leapt back, breathing heavily. How can you use Hyuga techniques? You have no Byakugan, no formal training. The eyes of the Lord see all techniques in their true form, Naruto explained. But this match isn't about techniques, Neji. It's about the truth you've been denied. What truth? Neji demanded. The truth about your father's death, Naruto replied. He wasn't sacrificed by the main house as you believe. He chose to die in Lord Hiyashi's place, out of love for his brother and to defy the fate imposed by the Hyuga elders. Neji's face paled. You lie. Ask Lord Hiyashi yourself, Naruto suggested, glancing toward the stands where the Hyuga leader sat rigid with shock. He carries a letter from your father explaining everything, a letter you were meant to receive when you were ready. The revelation staggered Neji momentarily, but his training reasserted itself as he fell into the stance for his ultimate defense. 8 trigrams palm rotation. As Neji spun, creating his chakra dome, Naruto simply waited. When the rotation stopped, he spoke again. Your father chose his path, Neji. He transformed what could have been submission into an act of free will and love. That is the power we all possess, to choose how we face our circumstances, to find freedom even within constraints. Enough talk, Neji shouted, charging forward with renewed determination. This time, Naruto didn't counter. Instead, he moved with blinding speed, appearing behind Neji in an instant. Divine reflection, gentle fist, he murmured, striking a precise point at the base of Neji's neck. The Hyuga prodigy collapsed, paralyzed but conscious. As Genma approached to call the match, Naruto knelt beside his opponent. Your cage is not the Hyuga seal, Neji. It is the hatred you've harbored based on incomplete truth. Free yourself from that, and you begin to truly honor your father's sacrifice. As medics carried Neji away, his eyes sought out Hiyashi in the stands, questions evident in his gaze. The Hyuga leader's solemn nod confirmed Naruto's words, beginning a healing process that would fundamentally change Neji's perspective. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki, Genma announced, prompting a mixture of cheers and stunned silence from the crowd. The subsequent matches proceeded differently from the original timeline. Sasuke, having trained with Kakashi but not consumed by the same level of darkness, defeated his opponent through skill rather than the curse mark he never received. Shikamaru demonstrated his tactical genius against Temari in a match that closely resembled the original timeline. When Gaara's turn came, however, something unexpected happened. Before his match could begin, feathers began falling throughout the stadium, the sign of a wide-area genjutsu marking the start of the Konoha Crush invasion. Naruto, having easily dispelled the genjutsu, immediately recognized the attack for what it was. His eyes sought out the Hokage's box, where Kazekage had already taken Hiruzen hostage and leapt to the rooftop. Sasuke, Naruto called to his teammate, who had also resisted the genjutsu. Protect the civilians. I'm going to help the Hokage. Without waiting for a response, Naruto moved with divine speed, reaching the rooftop just as a purple barrier formed around Orochimaru and the third Hokage. Anbu were already attempting to breach the barrier without success. Naruto approached calmly, his eyes analyzing the four violet flames formation created by Orochimaru's Sound Four. Through the eyes of the Lord, he could see the technique's structure, its weaknesses, its very essence. Stand back, he instructed the Anbu captain. I can break this barrier. The masked operative regarded him skeptically. That's impossible. This is an A-rank barrier technique. Nothing is impossible to the eyes of the Lord, Naruto replied, his gaze turning golden as he placed his hands against the purple energy. Divine reflection, four violet flames formation, he stated clearly. To the astonishment of the observing Anbu, Naruto's chakra resonated with the barrier, creating a localized disruption that allowed him to step through unharmed. Inside, Orochimaru had already revealed his true identity and was engaging the third Hokage in battle. Naruto, Hiruzen exclaimed, "Get out of here! This is not your fight!" With respect, Lord Third, Naruto replied, his eyes never leaving Orochimaru. Protecting the innocent is always my fight. Orochimaru's serpentine eyes narrowed with interest. The fascinating Jinchūriki appears again. How did you penetrate my barrier, boy? The same way I'll stop you, Naruto answered simply. By understanding and surpassing your techniques. The Sannin laughed. Bold words. Let's see if you can back them up while I demonstrate my latest achievement. His hands formed seals for a forbidden technique. Reanimation Jutsu. 3 coffins began rising from the rooftop. Hiruzen recognized the technique with horror, attempting to stop the third coffin with a counterseal, but the first 2 emerged completely, containing the reanimated first and second Hokages. Behold the power to control life and death itself, Orochimaru gloated. Even the legendary Hokages are now my puppets. Naruto observed the technique carefully, his golden eyes penetrating its secrets. The zombie-like Hokage stood vacant-eyed until Orochimaru inserted control tags into their heads, bringing them under his command. Disgusting, Naruto stated, his voice carrying a rare edge of anger. You defile the dead and corrupt their legacy for your ambition. Such moral outrage, Orochimaru mocked. What will you do about it, boy? In response, Naruto formed a hand seal unfamiliar to both Hokage and Sannin. Divine reflection, purification. Golden chakra erupted from Naruto, washing over the reanimated Hokages. Where it touched the control tags, they began to disintegrate, releasing the consciousness of the legendary shinobi from Orochimaru's control. Impossible, the Sannin hissed. No one can counter the reanimation jutsu so easily. As the tags dissolved completely, awareness returned to the eyes of Hashirama and Tobirama Senju. They looked around in confusion before focusing on Naruto, sensing something extraordinary in the young shinobi. Who are you, child? Hashirama asked, his voice echoing with the hollow quality of the reanimated. Naruto Uzumaki, he replied. Jinchūriki of the 9 Tails and protector of Konoha. Tobirama's red eyes narrowed. You broke Orochimaru's control over us. How? By understanding the nature of the binding and countering it with purifying chakra, Naruto explained. Your consciousness is now your own, though your bodies remain bound to this world through the jutsu. The first Hokage studied Naruto with growing wonder. Your chakra, it reminds me of. We can discuss that later, Naruto interrupted gently. For now, Konoha needs its Hokages one more time. Both legendary shinobi turned toward Orochimaru, who had been watching this exchange with calculating eyes. An unexpected development, the Sannin admitted, but not insurmountable. As the battle commenced, it became clear that even without control tags, the reanimated Hokages were restricted by the nature of the jutsu itself. Their techniques, while powerful, lacked the full force and creativity they had possessed in life. Naruto fought alongside them, and Hiruzen, his eyes of the Lord, allowing him to counter Orochimaru's every technique. When the Sannin attempted to use his sword of Kusanagi, Naruto created a perfect chakra replica of the legendary blade to parry it. Divine reflection, Kusanagi, he stated, blocking a strike aimed at the elderly third Hokage. The battle reached its climax when Orochimaru, realizing he was outmatched, attempted to flee. As he moved to break through his own barrier, Naruto appeared in his path. Running, Orochimaru? I thought you wanted to learn all techniques in the world, Naruto taunted gently. Here's one you haven't seen before. His hands formed a unique seal sequence that combined elements from multiple shinobi traditions. Sealing technique, divine prison, golden chains of chakra, reminiscent of those used by Kushina Uzumaki, but infused with something more ancient and powerful, erupted from Naruto's body, wrapping around Orochimaru and binding him completely. What is this? The Sannin demanded, struggling against the unbreakable restraints. A sealing technique that binds not just the body but the soul, Naruto explained. It prevents your consciousness from transferring to another vessel, the very technique you've been developing for immortality. Fear flashed across Orochimaru's face for the first time. How could you possibly know about that? The eyes of the Lord see all truths, Naruto replied simply. With Orochimaru restrained, Hiruzen approached, forming hand seals for the dead demon-consuming seal, the technique that had once claimed his life in another timeline. No, Lord Third, Naruto interrupted, placing a gentle hand on the Hokage's arm. There's no need to sacrifice yourself. My seal will hold him until proper containment can be prepared. Hiruzen hesitated, then nodded, recognizing the wisdom in Naruto's words. You continue to surprise me, Naruto Uzumaki. As the barrier fell and Anbu secured Orochimaru, the reanimated Hokages faced Naruto with expressions of profound respect. Young man, Hashirama said solemnly, you possess something I haven't felt since. He trailed off, seemingly unable to place the familiar yet alien chakra. Since you encountered the Sage of Six Paths, Naruto completed for him. Yes, there is a connection there, though not what you might expect. Tobirama studied him carefully. You should release this jutsu now. The dead should remain at rest. Naruto nodded in agreement. I apologize for not doing so immediately. I wanted to give you the chance to see that Konoha still stands, still honors your legacy. With a complex series of hand seals, Naruto performed the release technique for the reanimation jutsu. As the first and second Hokages began to disintegrate, returning to the pure world, Hashirama offered a final smile. The will of fire burns strongly in you, Naruto Uzumaki, perhaps more strongly than in anyone I've ever encountered. With those words, the legendary Hokages departed, leaving Naruto, Hiruzen, and the stunned Anbu on the rooftop with the restrained Orochimaru. The invasion of Konoha had been thwarted far more decisively than in the original timeline. With Orochimaru captured instead of merely injured, and the third Hokage alive rather than sacrificed, the village's recovery began immediately. The Sand Forces, learning of their Kazekage's murder and replacement by Orochimaru, withdrew and sued for peace. In the aftermath, Naruto found himself summoned once more to the Hokage's office. This time, he wasn't alone. Jiraiya of the Sannin was present as well, leaning against the wall with an uncharacteristically serious expression. Naruto, Hiruzen began. Your actions during the invasion saved many lives, including my own. For that, Konoha is grateful. Naruto inclined his head respectfully. I did only what was necessary, Lord Third. What you did, Jiraiya interjected, was demonstrate abilities that shouldn't be possible for a Genin, or most Kage for that matter. Jiraiya has been briefed on your unique situation, Hiruzen explained. As my student and your godfather, he deserved to know. I understand, Naruto replied calmly. And I assume you have questions, Jiraiya-sama? The Toad Sage pushed off from the wall, approaching Naruto with evaluating eyes. Kid, I've lived a long time and seen some incredible things, but a 12-year-old Jinin breaking the reanimation jutsu, copying techniques that should be impossible to duplicate, and creating a sealing technique I've never even heard of, that goes beyond incredible into the realm of the divine. An apt choice of words, Naruto commented with a slight smile. So it's true then? Jiraiya pressed. You really believe you're the reincarnation of some primordial human ancestor? Not just any ancestor, Naruto clarified. Adam, the first man, who fought the gods themselves to protect his children. His soul resides within me alongside the Nine Tails, granting me the eyes of the Lord and the divine reflexes that allow me to perfectly replicate any technique I witness. Jiraiya exchanged glances with Hiruzen. And you believe him, Sensei? The third Hokage puffed thoughtfully on his pipe. After what I witnessed on that rooftop? Yes, I do. There is something in Naruto that goes beyond the power of the Nine Tails, something ancient and frankly, awe-inspiring. Well then, Jiraiya turned back to Naruto with a renewed gleam in his eye. I suppose this changes my plans for your training. Training? Naruto inquired. I was going to take you on a journey to help you master the Nine Tails chakra, Jiraiya explained. Now it seems I might learn as much from you as you from me. There is always more to learn, Naruto replied diplomatically. I would welcome your guidance, especially regarding the sealing arts. While Adam's knowledge is vast, it doesn't specifically include shinobi techniques. Jiraiya nodded thoughtfully. Fair enough. We'll leave in a week. I still need to locate Tsunade. The village needs her medical expertise after the invasion, and Sensei here could use a successor. Speaking of succession, Hiruzen interjected, the council will want to recognize your contributions, Naruto. There's talk of a field promotion to Chunin, at minimum. Naruto considered this briefly. Rank means little to me, Lord Third. I will serve Konoha in whatever capacity allows me to protect the most people. The Hokage smiled warmly. A wisdom beyond your years, or perhaps exactly fitting for your years, considering your unique situation. The meeting concluded with arrangements for Naruto's training journey with Jiraiya, a significant departure from the desperate search for Tsunade in the original timeline. With Orochimaru contained rather than at large, and the third Hokage healthy rather than deceased, Konoha's position was far stronger. Before departing, Naruto sought out Sasuke. He found the Uchiha training alone in a secluded training ground, his movements intense but controlled. Your form has improved, Naruto commented as he approached. Sasuke paused, turning to face his teammate. Naruto, I heard about what happened on the rooftop. The whole village is talking about it. Naruto nodded slightly. People often exaggerate. Do they? Sasuke's dark eyes studied him carefully. They say you defeated Orochimaru and saved the Hokage, that you controlled the reanimated first and second Hokages. I didn't control them, Naruto corrected. I freed them from control, briefly. There's a difference. Sasuke's fists clenched at his sides. You're so much stronger than you've let on. All this time, you've been hiding your true power. Not hiding, Naruto replied calmly, waiting for the right moment to use it. Power without purpose is meaningless, Sasuke. My purpose is clear, Sasuke stated flatly, to kill Itachi and avenge my clan. Naruto regarded him thoughtfully. Is that truly your only purpose? To define your entire existence by a single act of vengeance? What would you know about it? Sasuke demanded, anger flashing in his eyes. You never had a family to lose. Rather than react with anger as the original timeline's Naruto might have, this Naruto's expression softened with genuine compassion. In this life, that's true, but I carry the memory of watching my children suffer and die across generations. I understand loss, Sasuke, perhaps more deeply than you can imagine. The cryptic response gave Sasuke pause. What do you mean, in this life? I'm leaving the village for a time, Naruto said, changing the subject. Training with Jiraiya of the Sannin. Before I go, I wanted to ask what you plan to do now. Sasuke hesitated, his internal conflict visible. I need to get stronger, strong enough to face Itachi when the time comes. Then let me offer you a gift before I leave, Naruto suggested. A perspective that might help you find balance between your past and your future. With gentle deliberation, Naruto reached out, placing 2 fingers against Sasuke's forehead, reminiscent of the gesture Itachi often used, though Naruto couldn't have known this. Divine reflection, clarity, he murmured. Sasuke gasped as images flowed into his mind. Not specific memories, but impressions of protection, of familial love, of sacrifice for others. The essence of Adam's devotion to his children transferred in a moment of connection that transcended ordinary communication. When Naruto withdrew his hand, Sasuke staggered slightly, his eyes wide. What was that? A reminder, Naruto replied softly. That strength comes not just from hatred and vengeance, but from having something precious to protect. Your clan would want you to live, Sasuke, not merely survive for revenge. The Uchiha said nothing, but something had shifted in his expression, a softening around the eyes, a slight relaxation of his perpetually tense shoulders. Think about what truly matters to you, Naruto continued. When I return, I hope to find you still here, growing stronger for the right reasons. With those words, Naruto departed, leaving Sasuke with much to contemplate. The conversation marked a critical divergence from the original timeline, a moment where Sasuke's path toward darkness might instead bend toward light. The journey with Jiraiya proved enlightening for both master and student. While they searched for Tsunade, Naruto demonstrated abilities that consistently astonished the Toad Sage, from perfect chakra control to instantaneous mastery of complex techniques. It's not just copying, Jiraiya observed as they trained in a clearing near a small town. When you use the divine reflection, you actually improve on the original technique. Naruto nodded, dismissing the Rasengan variant he just demonstrated, larger and more stable than Jiraiya's own version. The eyes of the Lord see not just what is, but what could be. Every technique has untapped potential. And this Adam, Jiraiya continued carefully, the being you believe you were in a past life. Tell me more about him. Naruto sat cross-legged on the grass, his expression thoughtful. Adam was created as the father of humanity, perfect in form and blessed with divine sight. When the gods threatened his children, he stood against them in combat, using the eyes of the Lord to copy their techniques and fight them as equals. Sounds like quite a story, Jiraiya commented, neither believing nor disbelieving. It's not a story to me, Naruto replied simply. They're memories, sometimes distant, sometimes crystal clear. I remember the love for my children, the determination to protect them at any cost. That same protective instinct guides me now. Jiraiya studied his godson with a mixture of fascination and concern. And the Nine Tails? How does it feel about sharing space with this ancient soul? Kurama, Naruto corrected, respects strength and purpose. Initially, he was skeptical, but as I've demonstrated both, our relationship has improved significantly. We're not yet partners, but we're no longer adversaries. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of information regarding Tsunade's location. They found her in a gambling town, drowning her sorrows and traumatic memories in sake and rigged card games. Unlike the original timeline, their approach was not hindered by an encounter with Itachi and Kasame. With Orochimaru imprisoned in Konoha rather than seeking Tsunade's healing, the meeting focused solely on Konoha's request for her return. Absolutely not, Tsunade declared after hearing Jiraiya's proposal that she become the fifth Hokage. I left that cursed village behind years ago. Why would I return now? Because Konoha needs you, Naruto answered before Jiraiya could respond. Not just as Hokage, but as a healer. Your skills could save countless lives. Tsunade's amber eyes narrowed as she truly noticed the young shinobi for the first time. And who might you be, brat? Naruto Uzumaki, he replied with a respectful nod. Genin of Konoha and Jinchūriki of the Nine Tails. Minato's son, Tsunade murmured, recognition softening her features momentarily before her bitterness reasserted itself. Well, Naruto Uzumaki, let me tell you something about Konoha and the position of Hokage. It's a fool's job that gets people killed. My grandfather, my uncle, your father, all dead for the sake of a village that keeps sending children to war. Rather than react with outrage as his counterpart might have, Naruto regarded her with compassionate understanding. You speak from a place of profound loss, Lady Tsunade. The deaths of your brother Nawaki and your beloved Dan have left wounds that haven't healed despite the decades past. Tsunade froze, sight cup halfway to her lips. How do you know about them? I know many things, Naruto replied gently, including the fact that your fear of blood stems from trauma, not weakness, that your gambling addiction is self-punishment, not vice, that you wear that necklace as both memorial and penance. You little, Tsunade began, rising angrily from her seat. They wouldn't want this for you, Naruto continued, his voice carrying an authority that stopped her mid-motion. Dan and Nawaki loved Konoha and what it represented. Not just a village, but an ideal. Protection, community, hope. They died not for a place, but for that ideal. The Sanin's hands trembled slightly. You have no right to speak of them. Perhaps not, Naruto acknowledged. But as someone who has watched countless children die across eons, I understand something about grief and purpose. Healing is not forgetting, Lady Tsunade. It's finding new meaning that honors what was lost. Something in his words, or perhaps the ancient wisdom behind his eyes, reached Tsunade in a way Jiraiya's arguments couldn't. She sank back into her chair, studying Naruto with newfound intensity. You're not what I expected, she finally said. Jiraiya chuckled softly. He has that effect on people. In the days that followed, Naruto continued these conversations with Tsunade, sharing perspectives that bridged her pain and Konoha's needs. His approach wasn't based on challenges or bets, as in the original timeline, but on genuine understanding and respect for her trauma. Gradually, Tsunade's resistance eroded. When she finally agreed to return to Konoha, it wasn't with reluctance, but with renewed purpose, not just as a potential Hokage, but as a medical ninja determined to revolutionize shinobi healthcare. Your words reminded me of something I've been considering for years, she told Naruto as they packed to leave. Every four-man squad should include a medical ninja. Too many shinobi die from treatable injuries in the field. An excellent policy, Naruto agreed. Prevention is always preferable to reaction. Their return to Konoha marked another significant divergence from the original timeline. The village they found was not reeling from the Hokage's death and Orochimaru's escape, but steadily recovering under Hiruzen's continued leadership. The third Hokage greeted Tsunade warmly in his office, Jiraiya and Naruto standing respectfully to the side. It's good to see you, Tsunade, Hiruzen said sincerely. Your return comes at a crucial time for Konoha. So I've heard, she replied, her tone professional, but without the bitterness that had characterized her for so long. Jiraiya mentioned you're considering retirement. Hiruzen nodded, smoke curling from his pipe. I've served as Hokage for too many years. It's time for the next generation to lead. The council strongly supports your candidacy. And Orochimaru? Tsunade asked. I was told he's been captured. Securely contained, the third confirmed. Thanks in large part to Naruto here. Without his intervention, I would likely have died sealing Orochimaru with the Reaper Death Seal. Tsunade's gaze shifted to Naruto, reassessing the young shinobi yet again. Jiraiya has told me some interesting things about you during our journey. I imagine he has, Naruto replied with a small smile. The meeting concluded with Tsunade accepting the position of the fifth Hokage to be officially appointed after a transition period during which she would establish a new medical program for the village. This approach, methodical, planned, and without the pressure of immediate crisis, represented another improvement over the original timeline. As summer gave way to autumn, Naruto resumed training with his team, now led by Yamato, as Kakashi had been assigned to Anbu duties following the invasion. The dynamics had shifted subtly during his absence. Sasuke had become more focused but less obsessive, while Sakura had begun medical training under Tsunade's new program. You've changed them, Yamato commented one day after training. Both of them. Kakashi told me what they were like before. Naruto watched his teammates as they departed the training ground, chatting amicably rather than with the tension that had characterized their early days. They changed themselves. I merely offered perspective. Modest, Yamato noted with a small smile. But there's no denying your influence. The reports say Sasuke was headed down a dangerous path before you intervened. We all have choices, Naruto replied. Sasuke is choosing differently now. The peaceful period was interrupted by reports of a Akatsuki movement. Two figures in black cloaks with red clouds had been spotted near Fire Country's borders, Itachi Uchiha and Kasame Hoshigaki, searching for the Nine-Tails Jinchūriki. Unlike the original timeline, when this information reached Konoha, preparations were made immediately. Jiraiya approached Naruto privately, explaining the threat. The Akatsuki are after all Jinchūriki, the Toad Sage explained gravely. Their ultimate goal appears to be collecting all the tailed beasts, though for what purpose remains unclear. Naruto nodded thoughtfully. They won't stop coming. No, Jiraiya agreed, which is why the Hokage wants you to accompany me on an extended training journey. 3 years to prepare you to face this threat. The proposal mirrored the original timeline, but Naruto's response differed significantly. I respect the Hokage's concern, but I believe a different approach is warranted. Rather than running, we should prepare a counteroffensive. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow. That's risky. The Akatsuki are composed of S-rank missing nin. And yet, they are not invincible, Naruto replied. Each has weaknesses, motivations, vulnerabilities. With proper intelligence and preparation, they can be defeated. You sound very confident, Jiraiya observed. I've faced gods, Naruto stated simply. The Akatsuki may be powerful, but they are still human. Their discussion was interrupted by an alarm. Itachi and Kisame had been spotted in the village, their infiltration far more direct than in the original timeline. Rather than seeking Naruto through Kakashi, they had bypassed defenses and headed straight for the Jinchūriki's apartment. When they arrived, however, they found not a surprised Jinin, but Naruto waiting calmly, seated in meditation. Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki. Naruto greeted without opening his eyes. I've been expecting you, Kisame grinned, sharp teeth gleaming. Well, that saves us the trouble of hunting you down, kid. You've saved me trouble as well, Naruto replied, finally opening his eyes to reveal their golden glow. I wanted to speak with you both, particularly you, Itachi. The Uchiha's expression remained impassive, but a flicker of something, perhaps surprise, passed behind his Sharingan eyes. We're here to take you with us, Naruto Uzumaki. There's nothing to discuss. On the contrary, Naruto countered, rising smoothly to his feet. There's everything to discuss, starting with the truth about the Uchiha massacre and your role as a double agent. Itachi's composure slipped momentarily, genuine shock crossing his features before he controlled it. Kasame looked between them in confusion. What's he talking about, Itachi? Lies and misdirection, Itachi replied coldly, recovering quickly. Don't listen to him. Not lies, Naruto corrected gently. The eyes of the Lord see truth, Itachi Uchiha. I know you massacred your clan on orders from Danzo and the Konoha elders. I know you spared Sasuke out of love. I know you continue to spy on the Akatsuki for Konoha's benefit. The room fell silent, tension crackling in the air. Kasame's hand moved towards Samahada's hilt. Fascinating theory, Itachi finally said, but it changes nothing. We are still taking you with us. I don't think so, Naruto replied. As he spoke, the apartment walls shimmered, revealing that they were standing not in his actual home, but in a sophisticated genjutsu construct. Outside, Anbu surrounded the building, led by Kakashi and Jiraiya. You've walked into a trap, Naruto explained. But it doesn't have to end in battle. I'm offering you both a choice. A choice? Kasame laughed harshly. That's cute, kid. Kisame Hoshigaki, Naruto addressed the swordsman directly. You joined Akatsuki seeking a world of truth after discovering the Mist Village used and betrayed you. What if there's another path to that world, one that doesn't require sacrificing innocent lives? The shark-like Missing Nine's laughter died abruptly. How could you possibly know that? The same way I know that Itachi is terminally ill, Naruto continued, turning back to the Uchiha. That he plans to let Sasuke kill him as atonement. That he sacrificed everything to protect his brother and his village. Itachi's normally impassive face showed genuine distress now. These are not things anyone could know. I am not just anyone, Naruto replied, his voice resonating with something ancient and powerful. I am Adam Reborn, father of humanity, protector of all children, and I am offering you both redemption. The standoff might have continued, but at that moment, another presence made itself known, Sasuke, who had sensed his brother's chakra and arrived despite the Anbu perimeter. Itachi, he shouted, Sharingan active and Chidori crackling in his hand. Before anyone could react, Naruto moved with divine speed, appearing between the brothers. Sasuke, wait, there's something you need to hear first. Get out of my way, Naruto, Sasuke demanded. He killed our entire clan. Yes, Naruto acknowledged, on orders from Konoha's leadership, to prevent a coup that would have led to civil war and thousands of deaths. Sasuke froze, his Chidori flickering out. What did you say? What followed was a revelation that transformed the fate of the Uchiha brothers. With Jiraiya and Kakashi as witnesses, Naruto facilitated a conversation that should have happened years earlier. Itachi explaining the impossible choice he had faced, the manipulation by Danzo, his desperate attempt to protect both Sasuke and Konoha. Sasuke's rage didn't disappear, but it redirected. The foundations of his revenge shifted, his understanding of his brother fundamentally altered. When Itachi finally collapsed from the strain, revealing the extent of his illness, Sasuke caught him, not in violence but in support. Kisame, witnessing this exchange, lowered Samehada. "Well, this is unexpected. Life often is," Naruto replied. "Now about that choice I mentioned." The aftermath of this encounter represented perhaps the most significant divergence from the original timeline yet. Rather than continuing their pursuit of the Jinchūriki, Itachi and Kisame defected from Akatsuki, Itachi to receive medical treatment from Tsunade for his condition, Kisame to provide invaluable intelligence on the organization's structure and plans. This intelligence allowed Konoha to prepare targeted operations against individual Akatsuki members, gradually dismantling the threat rather than facing it at full strength years later. With Itachi's information about Pain's true identity and location, and Kasame's knowledge of Zetsu's infiltration capabilities, the village positioned itself to counter the organization's every move. Meanwhile, the revelation about Danzo's role in the Uchiha massacre led to his arrest and the disbanding of Root, his illegal Anbu faction. The village elders who had supported the massacre were removed from the council, creating space for reforms under Tsunade's leadership. For Sasuke, the path diverged entirely from vengeance. Though his relationship with Itachi remained complicated, the truth had freed him from hatred's grip. Instead, he channeled his energy into becoming strong enough to protect what remained of his clan's legacy and to eventually help rebuild it. As these events unfolded, Naruto continued to grow in both ability and influence. His quiet wisdom and extraordinary power earned him respect far beyond what his counterpart had achieved by this point in the original timeline. When he spoke in council meetings or strategic sessions, even veteran Jonin listened. The ripple effects of these changes extended beyond Konoha. With detailed intelligence on all Akatsuki members, Konoha reached out to other villages whose Jinchūriki were targeted. Gaara and Suna, Yugito Ni and Kumo, and others received warnings and support that allowed them to prepare rather than fall victim to surprise attacks. When Naruto finally confronted Pain, not in a devastated Konoha, but in a calculated operation targeting the Akatsuki leader's hidden base, he did so with full knowledge of Nagato's abilities and motivations. The battle was no less epic, but it was fought on Naruto's terms, with allied forces containing the Six Paths, while Naruto himself sought out the true Nagato. Their conversation, when it came, echoed across timelines, discussions of pain, cycle of hatred, and the possibility of peace. But this Naruto spoke not just from his own experiences, but with the weight of Adam's memories, countless generations of human suffering and resilience. "I have watched my children kill each other since Cain slew Abel," Naruto told the emaciated Akatsuki leader. "I have witnessed every permutation of hatred and vengeance across eons, and I can tell you with certainty, Nagato, that your path leads only to more suffering." "Then what is the answer?" Nagato demanded, his Rinnegan eyes boring into Naruto. "If pain cannot break the cycle, what can?" "Understanding," Naruto replied simply. "Not forced through shared suffering, but offered freely through compassion, the divine gift that allows us to see ourselves in others, even our enemies." As in the original timeline, Nagato was moved by Naruto's words. But rather than a deathbed conversion, this interaction offered the chance for genuine atonement. With Konan at his side, Nagato surrendered, agreeing to use his remaining strength to undo some of the damage the Akatsuki had caused. The systematic dismantling of the Akatsuki continued, with each member either redeemed, contained, or defeated according to their circumstances. Without Obito manipulating events from the shadows, his identity and plans exposed by Itachi's intelligence, the organization collapsed far earlier than in the original timeline. This left only the final threat, Madara Uchiha, or rather, the being claiming to be Madara, manipulating events from the shadows. With most of his pawns removed from the board, Black Zetsu accelerated his plans, attempting to resurrect Kaguya Otsutsuki through alternate means. It was during this confrontation that Naruto's true nature was fully revealed to the shinobi world. On a battlefield where representatives from all 5 great nations had gathered to face this ultimate threat, Naruto stepped forward, his eyes glowing with divine power. "I know you, Zetsu," he declared, his voice carrying to all present. "You are not Madara's will, but Kaguya's. You have manipulated events across centuries, all to resurrect your creator." Black Zetsu partially emerged from the ground, frozen shock. "Impossible. No one could know this." "I am Adam," Naruto replied, the golden light of his eyes intensifying. "Father of humanity, protector of all children, I have watched over my descendants since the beginning. I know the divine chakra Kaguya stole, for it is of the same source as my own power." Around him, shinobi from all villages, including his friends and mentors from Konoha, watched in awe as Naruto's form seemed to shimmer, momentarily overlaid with the image of a majestic figure with similar golden eyes. "You speak nonsense," Black Zetsu hissed, though uncertainty had crept into his voice. "Do I?" Naruto raised his hands, golden chakra swirling around them. "Then let me show you the true power of the divine." What followed was not just a battle, but a revelation. Naruto demonstrated abilities beyond any shinobi technique. Perfect counters to every attack, instantaneous mastery of all 5 chakra natures, and finally, a sealing technique that captured Black Zetsu completely. "Divine reflection, eternal containment," Naruto declared, his chakra forming complex patterns that even the Sage of 6 Paths himself might have found challenging to create. As the sealing completed, a profound silence fell over the battlefield. Shinobi from all nations stared in wonderment at the young man who had single-handedly ended a threat that had manipulated their world for centuries. It was Gaara who spoke first, approaching Naruto with newfound understanding in his eyes. "You were never just a Jinchūriki, were you?" Naruto smiled gently at his fellow container. "We are all more than the labels assigned to us, Gaara. You are more than the One-Tail's vessel. I am more than the Nine-Tail's prison. We are defined by our choices, not our circumstances." In the days that followed, representatives from all 5 nations gathered not for war, but for an unprecedented peace conference. With the Akatsuki threat eliminated and the truth about centuries of manipulation revealed, old enmities seemed suddenly petty and short-sighted. "We have been given a rare opportunity," Naruto addressed the gathered leaders, "to break not just the cycle of hatred that has plagued our generation, but the manipulation that has divided shinobi for centuries." His words carried weight beyond his years, or perhaps exactly fitting for his years, considering the ancient soul that shared his body. The 5 Kage listened with unprecedented openness as Naruto outlined a vision for cooperation rather than competition, mutual support rather than suspicion. The shinobi alliance that formed was not a temporary measure against a common enemy, as in the original timeline, but a foundation for lasting peace. Training exchanges, shared missions, standardized medical protocols, initiatives that would have seemed impossible months earlier were now embraced enthusiastically. And at the center of it all stood Naruto Uzumaki, no longer the outcast child seeking recognition, but the acknowledged protector of all, a living bridge between divine purpose and human potential. In Konoha, his friends and comrades adjusted to this new understanding of their quiet, golden-eyed companion. Some, like Kakashi and Jiraiya, had suspected there was more to Naruto than the Nine Tails. Others, like Sakura and Hinata, found their perspectives of him fundamentally altered. "Does it change how you see me?" Naruto asked Hinata during a quiet moment in Konoha's memorial garden. The Hyuga heiress, who had admired him from afar for years, considered the question carefully. "It explains much," she finally replied. "The wisdom in your eyes that seemed too deep for someone our age. The natural way you protect others without seeking recognition. But does it change how you see me?" Naruto pressed gently. Hinata shook her head, a small smile gracing her lips. "You were always extraordinary to me, Naruto-kun. This just confirms what I already knew." Their relationship, like many aspects of this timeline, developed differently, built on mutual respect and genuine understanding, rather than the dramatic realizations of the original path. Hinata's quiet strength complemented Naruto's protective nature, creating a partnership that balanced human emotion with divine purpose. As the years passed, Naruto continued to serve as Konoha's guardian and the shinobi world's conscience. When Tsunade eventually retired, it was Naruto who succeeded her as Hokage, not through loud declarations or desperate battles, but through the unanimous recognition of his unparalleled ability to protect and guide. On the day of his inauguration, as he stood before the gathered village in the traditional Hokage robes, Naruto gazed out at the faces he had sworn to protect, not just as a shinobi, but as Adam reborn. In another life, he addressed them, his voice carrying clearly across the crowd, "I stood against gods to protect my children. In this life, I stand with you as one of you, committed to the same purpose. A world where no child suffers for the sins of others, where strength serves protection rather than domination." As he spoke, his eyes briefly glowed golden in the sunlight, a reminder of the divine sight that had changed the destiny of not just Naruto Uzumaki, but the entire shinobi world. Today marks not just my appointment as Hokage, but our collective commitment to the future we have built together, a future worthy of every sacrifice that brought us here. The cheers that erupted were not just for a popular leader, but for a fundamental truth recognized across villages and nations, that in this world, unlike the original timeline, humanity had found not just peace through understanding, but protection through a father who had once challenged gods themselves. And as Naruto looked out over his village, his children, Adam's soul resonated with profound satisfaction. For in this life, unlike countless others, the cycle had been broken not through divine intervention, but through human choice guided by divine wisdom. It was, perhaps, the greatest victory either Naruto or Adam could have hoped for.
That's all for this wild story. If you're fired up about Naruto channeling Adam's divine power, hit that like button and tell me which god you think would fall to a Talk no Jutsu enhanced divine reflection. Subscribe for more crazy crossovers and keep that ninja way alive. Until next time, datebayo.